Hello, Hamtramck Public School students. I hope that this recording finds you happy and healthy. Your teacher is going to be sending you a link so that you can be doing classroom community time with them. At that time, you will be able to ask questions, you'll be able to work with your teacher, you'll be able to get models. Your teacher will be doing mini lessons, they'll be reading books, reading poetry. So there'll be a lot of things to do during the classroom community time. During that time, though, you're going to need to know what your part and how you play a role in building that classroom. So even though it's an online setting, know that the same rules apply, except in a little bit different way. For example, the first thing that you do when you log on is you say, "Hello, Mrs. Smith. Can you hear me?" And the teacher will say yes or no that they can hear you, just so that you can get used to the online setting. Right after you've said hello to your teacher, what you're going to do is then hit mute. Make mute your friend. You cannot have your microphone on the entire time because then it disrupts the learning community. If you're typing, if you're writing, if you're getting paper, anything that's happening at home will then be blasted off right into the community. And so our learning communities need to be silent. So we need for you to use your mute button. Hit that mute button. All right, so active listening. You need to make sure that you're actively listening to what's happening in the classroom community. That doesn't mean to unmute yourself, though. Instead, it means to use the thumbs up sign so you can use your video. And the teacher asks a question, they say, "Give me thumbs up or thumbs down." And guess what? You're going to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or even you could give a thumb sideways. So active engagement or active listening isn't done through a microphone in this setting. Instead, it's done through your facial features and your facial expression. It's done through giving, signs with your hands. So instead of unmuting, make sure that you're using those features as well. So make sure that you're active on the chat. But the chat feature is not for saying what's up to your friend. Instead, it is for asking questions of the teacher. Again, you're not going to unmute to ask a question unless a teacher specifically asks you to. Instead, you're going to use the chat. And at a certain time during the classroom community time, a teacher's going to say, "Okay, class, we're going to take a 2-minute break and I'm going to look through the chat so I can see what questions have been asked so far, and I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes answering those questions." So again, the chat isn't to hang out with your friends. It's not an instant messaging tool like that. Instead, it is a classroom community tool so that you can get your questions answered. Okay, another tip for being online in the classroom community: take notes. Whatever you do, make sure that you're taking notes. Sometimes things go so fast in a classroom community and teachers are teaching up a storm. You should be taking notes as well and be actively engaged in your learning. That's a really important piece to this. One last tip that I want to give you. When you start your classroom community time, make sure you're in an area where it's kind of quiet and you're not going to be disrupted. It doesn't mean that you need to isolate yourself. Make sure you're close to your parent, but make sure that you're in an area where you can really learn. Classroom community time really begins with you. You can make or break this time. It's really important that you and your classmates can learn. And in order to do that, we're going to need your help by muting your microphone, staying actively engaged in the learning, and making sure that you're in a space where you won't be disrupted. Again, it doesn't mean you have to be isolated. Certainly be close to your parent, but we want to make sure that you're not going to be distracted. Overall, thanks so much for choosing Hamtramck Public Schools, and we look forward to working with you online. Do you need support? Feel free to reach out to your classroom teacher or your building administrator. If you're stuck with tech, we totally understand. contact tech support at 313-305-6976. Our tech support hotline is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you.